Hello everybody, this is Silly S. Now a while back ago, I got this ask saying, I really like your art, and I was wondering, how do you make a comic template? Do you draw it, or do you find one on site? Well, Anonymous, I don't find them on sites. I make my own, just because it gives me a little bit more freedom to do whatever the heck I want. So, I was gonna do this in a step-by-step tutorial and not make a video, but I just think it's going to be a lot easier if I just show you guys, because a lot of it's just cut and paste, and when I was doing it, it was a lot of steps, and I don't think it was going to come across as well, because you'd be like, where are all these lines coming from, if you didn't see it in real time. So I'm going to make a video. This is my first video with audio with me talking in it, so I apologize if it is not the best quality. I'm an amateur, and I'm going to try to do my best. Anyways, let's get right to it. So the first thing you'll need is some art to put some frames on. Now, disclaimer, I'm going to be using Paint Tool SI. I would recommend, if you have Photoshop, use Photoshop, because you can use the, what are those things called? The rulers and the little guidelines. It's a lot easier, but I'm using Paint Tool SI because I don't think a lot of people have Photoshop. Photoshop's expensive, so I'm just going to show you how to make frames with a very low budgety art program. You can pretty much make these frames if you've got the select tool and a paint bucket. And so yeah, that's basically why I'm using this version. Now, I'm sure there are 10 other different ways to make frames a lot easier than what I'm doing. This is the way I do it. So, if you already make your frames a certain way and you're like, Sully, you're doing this, like, this is way too much work. Why are you killing yourself? That's just what I do. I do everything the hardest way possible. Anyways, let's get started. So, I am going to be using this old comic, which is my refill comic, and I apologize to anybody who doesn't like this ship, but it's not about what's going on in the comic, it's about the frames, so just try to ignore it. Anyways, I also picked this because it's the only one that I have still in the sketch stage. Most of the time I get rid of the sketch stage, and it has a lot of good framing things. There's a lot of lines in it that I could show you how to do. So when you start off, you should draw a thumbnail, which is what this is, and draw what you would like your frames to be. So you can see here, I want my frames like this, and some vertical lines, some short lines, some long lines, and as you can see, I have this border going on out here, and so we'll just get started. The first thing you want to do is you want to make a new layer, which I've already made, and I'm going to call it H1 because it's going to be horizontal line 1. You're going to be making a lot of layers. Let's just get that out of the way. And I would advise you to name them. I am not the best. I'm going to do the naming in this video because that's what we should do. I'm not saying that is the rule that I always follow. Anyways, so H1, we're basically going to make 2 frames. So this is going to be the first frame. This is going to be called the black frame. So what you want to do is you're going to just take your select tool, doesn't matter what kind of your box select tool, you're going to take it and you're going to drag it all the way across, just like this, and then you're going to take your bucket, you're going to take black, and then you're going to fill it. Alright, so looks beautiful, whatever. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to select it again. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be exactly precise, you're just grabbing the whole thing. And then I'm using Ctrl C, and I'm copying, and then I'm pasting. And then so what we have here is we're going to do all the horizontal long lines, which is this line here, and then this line. Oh wait, sorry. There's only this line, there's going to be one here, and there's going to be one at the bottom. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste this line 2 more times. So I've already pasted it, I'm going to do another one. So you're going to go in here and you should name it. So we're going to name it H2 and we're going to name it H3. Awesome. Okay, and then you're going to deselect, which I'm hitting Control D. And then I'm going to take this. This would also be like this is the select tool if you're using Photoshop. And I'm just going to move it down and put it right here. Now, sometimes when you're doing this, it might not touch the other, like let's say you get this and it's driving you insane because you can't, you're like, oh, I still get this little white line. Like, what am I going to do? Easy. You do Control T, this is for transform. And all you want to do, don't adjust these up or down because we're trying to keep the same width. What you're going to do is you're just going to make it longer. Bam. No sweat. Oh look, it's perfectly long black line. Okay, so then there's the last one. We're going to bring this down. Boom, boom. Same thing happens. So you try to keep the same width, so you want to show it. So you want to show the full width because we're trying to keep all the lines the same width. So you just this is why this is a lot easier in Photoshop because you don't have to eye it so much. And as you see, I'm having a little trouble. See, I'm still getting these little white lines. Control T, move it out. Bam. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the short horizontal lines. So we're gonna be doing these lines. So right here and right here. So what you want to do is it doesn't matter which one of these lines you pick, H2, 1, or 3. I'm going to pick 1. You're going to take your select tool again, and then you're going to take just a shorter version of it. Oh, you know what? I'll take it from this side because from this side you can see exactly how far you want it to go. So, and it doesn't hurt if you take a little bit more, not like a lot, but a little bit more than you need. So I'm going to copy. So I'm hitting Control C for copy, and then I'm going to paste it two times. So I need 1, 2, and then I'm going to name these SH for short horizontal. 1. That was 12. I don't have that many lines. Hold on. SH1 and SH2. Okay. Deselect. They're right there, so I'm going to move them. So I'll put one here. Oh, put one here. I keep forgetting size. Not Photoshop. It's not auto select. And then I'm going to put it here. Wow. All right. So I got my short lines, and now we're going to start doing the vertical lines. Now we're going to basically keep doing the same thing we did before. Take your select tool, and you're going to take the whole thing up here, like earlier. And this was horizontal 1. I'm going to copy, Control C, and then I'm going to paste, Control V, and then I need 1, 2, I need 2 big vertical lines. So I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to see that there's 2 new layers. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to name them V1 for vertical, and I'm going to do it again. Oops, double click. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm double clicking these layers to rename them. So V1, V2. All right. Deselect, Control D. We're going to move it. We're using our select tool to move it. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to hit Control T, which is the transform button. The transform function. Okay, and then so you see how this turned into like a turn symbol thing. What you want to do is you want to hold Shift, and then you just want to rotate it any which way. Now the holding Shift means it's gonna go in like degree angles. It's not gonna be like, if you don't hold Shift, this is what's gonna happen. You're like, oh no, I don't know exactly where 90 degrees is, and so then you have to fight with it, and you're like, oh, I think that's right. It's not right. So what you want to do is that I backed up. I Controlled Z. I made the magic go away. So I'm going back. This is as if you were just resetting. Anyways, so you're going to hold the Shift button so you get exactly 90 degrees up. And now we're going to put this over here. Oh, look at that. Looking beautiful already. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to put it over here. And so you see how this is actually a longer line? It doesn't matter that it's going off the page because it's not what's visible. So we're not even going to sweat it. Don't even try to like shrink it or anything. So now we've got to get our shorter vertical line. So we need these lines right here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your V1 line or your V2 line, and you're just going to take it, and you're going to take a little bit more. So it's actually better if you take the length of whatever panel you want. So I'm taking the length here, and I'm taking a little bit more, just so I make sure that it's going to connect with this line down here. So is this the one I'm on? No, I'm not. This is from V2. Okay, so I'm gonna copy, which is Ctrl C, and I'm gonna paste, Ctrl V, and I'm gonna do it 1, 2, 3 times. So 2. So I've got 3 layers here. I'm gonna rename these short V1, short V2, and short V3. Alright, taking my select tool, and I'm just going to move it over like so. Bam. And like you see how it's not completely, it's kind of overlapping. That's completely fine. Don't even worry about it. And so we're going to take this one. Bum, 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 bum. And if you want to space these out a little bit differently, that's fine. Like this is a little thin. I'm trying to make these all the same size, this panel the same size, and it's not exactly looking that way, because like this looks bigger than this one, so if you want, kind of move it over a bit. I'm just eyeballing it. Oops. I'm going to move this one over just a little bit. That looks better. Okay. So now we've got all of it. This is our black frame, and this so you can keep it like this, but I would suggest you merging all of these together so it's locked in. So to do that inside, you hit Ctrl E, and it's just gonna move it down 1. So that's what I'm gonna do. And in Photoshop, you can actually select these all. You could actually select all of them, but you can't do that inside. So inside, you're going to hit Ctrl E and watch. You're going to watch them all come down. Oh, look at that. So let's rename this black frames or frame. Oh, awesome. Now, we're almost done. The next part you have to do is we're basically doing the whole thing all over again, but with white or whatever color you choose. Actually, I'm actually going to use, so make a new layer and name it H1, because we're doing the horizontal lines again. So I'm actually going to take, this is the eyedropper, I'm actually going to take this color, this yellow color. It's a little off-white. It's probably like an eggshell if you wanted to be like sophisticated. But I was going to use white, but now I'm going to use this color because I like it. Anyways, doesn't matter what color you use, just anything. So this time when we make our, so I picked up the selection tool, the rectangular selection tool. We're going to go over. Now this time you're going to be looking for a little bit of the difference of how thick you want your black line to be. So as you can see, I've left this space up here because I kind of want a thick line. You can make it thinner if you want. If you're like, you might have to zoom in if you want to see like how big your line's going to be. So you're going to come in here, and then I'm using, well, how do I do this? Hold on. So you're like, well, I want it thinner. If you want it thinner, just come up here, hold Shift, because that gives you the little plus sign, and the little plus sign that allows you to add to your selection. And you come in here, and let's say you want it super thin. Bam, look at that. You got a super thin line. I don't like super thin lines, but I'm just showing you that you could do that. I like a thicker line, so we're going to leave it at that. I just Ctrl Z, by the way. Anyways, so this is our new line. And what am I doing? Oh, this is the photo bucket. I mean, the photo bucket. This is the fill bucket. Like I said, I'm going to use this yellow color. Bam. So there's that. I'm going to deselect. I need a couple of these lines like earlier. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy, Control C, Control C, Control V, Control V, rename them H2, H3. I'm gonna deselect, Control D. I'm gonna move them with my selection tool. So I'm gonna come down here. And you're gonna try to eyeball it like a, and you can kind of tell, because you want that to hit the very edge of the box you made. And once again, you can transform this, Control T. See, this is a little bit thinner, so I'm gonna have to kind of zoom in so I make sure I get it. So yeah, so that's a good looking line right there. And then for this one, the number 2, you'll see that we can actually make 2 lines with 1 line. So you so that's kind of how thick you want it to be. It looks like that's how it wants to be. But for this one, we're actually going to that's a question. What are we gonna do with this line? I mean, you can shrink it. We can actually change the width on this line. So Control T. First, make sure it's crossing the whole page. Fine, be that way. I have to zoom in because it doesn't want me. It's not giving me this option. Okay, and then we are going to change the width. So this is probably the only time you'll be changing widths of your line. So what you want to do is you want to hit Shift. You're going to hold down Shift. You're going to move it down just a little bit. And so you kind of get the same line that you saw earlier. This is just kind of eyeballing it. I don't think anyone's really going to care. That looks pretty good. We'll come back to it. I'm not 110% happy with it. We'll come back to H2 because it's a problem child. Anyways, so let's do our shorter lines. So just like last time, come from this side, because since we're doing these 2 lines down here, what I want you to do is you'll take it and you're going to take a little bit more than you need to. So like the middle of it, a middle of this black line. So you're going to copy, Control C, you're going to paste, Control V, short H1, I'm not even capitalizing anymore, short H2, and then it's going to come down, deselect, Control D. What did I do wrong? Hello? I did something wrong. Hold on. Okay, I think I just made, okay, let me start over. Okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna copy it, Control C, Control V, Control V. Before I rename them, I wanna make sure I got the shorter versions of these. I don't know what that was. What's going on? This will happen. What is going on? Alright. Be that way. Okay, I can work with this. Not a problem. So, we're still getting, for whatever reason, it's not copying the shorter version. Not sure why. Not a problem though, because this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take my select tool, and I'm just going to cut it off short. Bam. Which, okay, so I selected it. I'm going to hit Control X, which is cut. I'm not on the right layer. There we go. It was short 1. And then what I'll do here is I'm going to take it again, copy, Control C, paste, Control V. I'm going to move it. This better work this time. Okay, there it goes. So, bam, that worked. So we're going to move that over. Shazam. Deselect. I'm getting rid of this layer because I don't need it. I'm renaming this layer H2. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to do our vertical lines. So same thing. We're going to take H1, come up here, Control C, Control V, because I need 2. I'm going to Control T. I'm going to flip it horizontally. Make sure you're holding the Shift key when this is happening. And you're going to figure out, this is when you can kind of like eyeball like how thick you want these lines to be. So you say, okay, kind of like that thickness. It's a good thickness. I might adjust it in a minute. As you can see, there's no little pesky lines that you get from like, it's just seamless. Look at that. It's beautiful. All right. So, oh, I forgot to name these. V1. I'm already teaching you bad applets. V2. You can see where you can get very lost with these lines. So this is V2. Control T, hold Shift, rotate it either way, and then booyah. And the reason why this is easier in Photoshop is in Photoshop you can do this nifty thing where you can nudge your stuff, which is so much easier than trying to eyeball it with your mouse. I'm doing this all with my mouse, by the way. I'm not using my pen. It's probably a little bit easier if you use your pen, but I'm just using, because I don't know, I'm just using my mouse. Anyways, so this is looking pretty good. Let's get our shorter version. So this is V1. I'm selected on. I'm going to take a little bit more. So this is a little bit more from each side of this panel. So, and you want more because you want it to seamlessly blend in with your horizontal lines. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste. I'm going to make sure that moved. Oh, okay. That one worked. Okay, so I'm going to also hit Control V. So it says it's floating. Don't worry about this. Control D for deselect. It's gone. So short V1. And you know what? I'm just going to take that. I don't even know where it is. It doesn't matter because it's the only thing on the layer. I'm just going to copy and I'm going to paste it. So Control C, Control V. And Control V. I need two of them. I'm going to rename them SV2, SV3, booyah, and I'm going to move them over. So, just like that. And it's not the end of the world if they're not looking the right thickness at this moment. We're gonna play with them in just a second. We're gonna do the tweaking. Oh, look at that. Look at, you're getting some good looking frames. Now you see there's some Toby. Hold on, my dog wants to come in. So some of these lines are not exactly the right way. Like these are a little bit thinner than these, and this is thick. So it's time to start doing some adjusting. So definitely I can see that my outer lines up here, they're looking good. They're looking nice and thick. I like them. It's the ones on the inside that are a little wonky. So what you want to do is we're gonna shrink our vertical lines basically. So you're gonna, and this is gonna help you a lot. These little eyes, it kind of shows you which. If you can't remember what layer, which there's me a lot of times I can't remember which layers are which. It's gonna help you figure out where things are. Anyways, so I need to work on this one because this line right here is a little thin. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to hit Control T. And then I'm holding Shift, by the way. And I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker. Alright, I like how that one looks. It's kind of the same width as the other one. And then I'm going to go over here. This is what's this one? Okay, so this is the next layer. Control T, bring it in a little bit, bring it in a little bit, bam, it's looking good. And then, where is this one? Control T, a little bit in. Oh, this can get a bit frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. Especially when you're using your, this is probably when you want to start using your tablet pen. It's a little bit more precise than using your arm. So let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, this is good. That's kind of what I want it to look like. So back down here, these are obviously, these lines are too thin. So you gotta find your short horizontal lines. So what's this one? Okay, that's a big horizontal line. There we go. Short horizontal line. Control T. I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker. A little bit thicker. And you know what? It doesn't have to be precise because you know what? I don't think anyone's checking unless like it's a serious professional. Who is like obsessed with length. I mean with width. I don't think anyone's gonna notice. This is why I'm kind of eyeballing it. I'm trying to do like the kind of hassle-free way. where you don't have to do like, oh, I need 5 point whatever. So, oh, I need this a little bit up. Oh, that's too much, I need to start using my pen. Whatever, it looks good. And then, so for this line down here, see how these are all thin? This is from your long horizontal line. That was that problem child I was talking about before. So, where is it? H2. Let's make sure that's what this is. Yup. Okay. Control T. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Oh, ran into a problem. This might happen. See this little line right here? Look at that. It's because we didn't make our little short horizontal lines long enough. Easy fix. You just gotta figure out what layer this is. So it's a short vertical, so not that one, this one. So you're gonna take it, Control T, and you're just gonna come down here and you're gonna make sure, don't change the width in it, just change the length. So you're gonna move it down a little bit, Control D, deselect, or say okay. It wants me to say okay. Oh, look at that. It's gone. It's beautiful. And there you go. It looks all good. And like I said, you can adjust this at any time. So, like now I'm noticing that this line's a little bit thin. I can change that. It's on the same layer, T. Yeah. Oh, look at that. They look all pretty much the same length. And if you think like this, okay, now I'm looking at this is a little thin, but this is nitpicking. You could do this all day. But basically, that is how you make frames. So you got your lovely frames, just so you can see it without the messiness. Okay, that's messier. Never mind. And then if you like how it looks, I would strongly advise you to also either put this in a folder, so you can make folders inside, because maybe you do want to change the widths and the lengths of everything, or just merge them down like we did earlier and name it the color frame. And if you're feeling super bold, you could even merge them both together, and bam, no frames, frames, no frames, frames. Oh dang. Okay, wait a minute, I messed up. We are missing these two lines right here. Good job, Sully. Okay, hold on, let me go back. So, I'm hitting the Control Z, which is the greatest thing that God has ever created. So, I went a little too far, so I'm just having to readjust this again. Booyah. Okay. This horizontal line, H2. See, this is what you see what I'm saying? This is so much better as a video because it was going to be a little bit more troublesome. Okay. We forgot about these two lines right here. So, how are we going to do this? Okay, so I've already merged my black frames. Not a problem. We can still do this. So what I want to do is first I want to actually turn off all my colored frames. So I'm just I'm not getting rid of them, I'm just turning them off just so I can see the black frames. So for the black frames, we need really short vertical lines. So what you want to do is you can just take this and you can zoom in. Since we've already lost the easiness of having the lines on their own layer, I actually have to dissect it a little bit. So this is perfectly up to the width that I need. So and if you think you're overshooting it, just zoom in. And if it's not overshooting it, you can hit Alt, which gives you the little minus sign, and you could shave off a little bit. But we don't need to shave off, so Control Z. I undid that, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to copy it. So Control C, and take it, and then Control V, and Control V, and I'm going to name these short V1, short V2. All right. Deselect. Let's zoom back out. Zoom back out. Let's move it. Okay. Bam. Bam. Oh. Bam. Bam. Okay, that looks good. Okay. So we're now going to merge these back. So, well, actually, so when you're doing this part, see, I don't want it to, I want to make sure that these lines are a little bit offset from these lines. So I'm going to move them just a little bit. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. This is just me and my perfectioniness coming out. Anyways, so I'm going to merge these. So Control E, black frames, it's all there. So we can turn back on our white frames. I don't know why I keep calling it white frames. It's a colored frame. Because I think in the original comic it was white. Alright. So now, it doesn't matter, find any vertical lines that you had from before. It could be the short ones, it can be the long ones. I'm just going to do what I did last time. So I'm going to take the long ones, vertical one, which should be right there, and I'm just going to do what I did earlier. I'm going to overshoot it a little bit, copy, Control C, Control V, Control V. Rename them, short vertical for super short, 1, short vertical, 2. Deselect, Control D, move it over. I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of me saying Control D. Now see, it's a little bit longer, so you can just move it down because you can always go off the page. That's never a problem. So, I'm done with that one. Let's move this one. And just to let you know, when you copy and paste something, it's always going to be on top of where you copied and pasted it. So if you're wondering, like, what happened to that line? It's going to be where you pasted it before. Like I said, these are a little short. These are a little thin. So we're going to go in and we're going to adjust them. So Control T. Hold Shift down when you're doing this. Bring it in just a little bit until you get it, until you kind of eyeball it. It's good enough. I'm not going to worry about it. This one, Control T, move it out, move it out. I'll move it on up. That is not the right one. Anyways, all right. Now we've got some pretty good looking frames. So, like I said, we're gonna Control E. Booyah, frames, no frames. I mean, no frames, frames. And that's how you do it. I hope that this will help you. All right, thanks. And happy framing.